Hey there, and welcome back to Practical AutoCAD in Inventor. Using blocks in AutoCAD provides uniformity, speed, reduced file size, efficient collaboration, and data management. In this video, I'll show you how to use the block command to make blocks. There are two distinct advantages to using blocks in AutoCAD. Number one is they add consistency to your drawings, and number two is once you create a block in AutoCAD, you never have to draw that geometry again because you can share that block with other drawings, and I'll show you how to do that in an upcoming video. But in order to create a block, the easiest way to do it is to use the block command. Now, to begin with, I have drawn my geometry for my blocks on layer 0. The reason you draw your blocks on layer 0 is anything drawn on layer 0 in a block will assume the characteristics of the target layer. So right now my layer 0 is white with a continuous line type. But if I were to insert any one of these blocks onto a layer that was, say, cyan and had a center line type, all of the geometry in that block would assume those characteristics. They would be cyan and they would have the center line type. So you're always going to want to start with that layer 0 as your starting layer, and then you'll create all of your geometry on that layer. After you've created your geometry, you'll go to the Insert tab up here on the ribbon, and then you'll go to the Block Definition panel and you'll choose the Create Block tool, or you could simply type in block at the command line. Once you do so, it's going to prompt you to put in the name of the block. So I'm going to call this first one ground, O-U-N-D, and then I'm going to specify where my insertion point is. It's a good idea when you're creating a block to create a logical insertion point. And since when I create this, or when I insert this block, that point right there, the midpoint of that line is going to be where it attaches to a wire, I'm going to pick that point. You'll see that it records that point in AutoCAD here, and now it asks, or now it's ready for us to select our objects. So I'm going to choose Select Objects. I will simply select the objects that I want to include in the block. You'll see when I do that it creates a little preview for me here. And now I'm almost ready to go, but before I hit OK, I want to talk about a couple other things. Number one, always leave your block unit at inches, at least if you're in the United States. If you go changing this to feet or something else like that, it's going to make your block come in at a different size. And remember, we always draw full size in AutoCAD. The other thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't have annotative chosen unless you specifically want to create an annotative block. Remember, annotative blocks will scale themselves based on your drawing annotation and your drawing scale. So we're going to leave that set to 0 because, again, we drew this object full size or actual size. Once you've done so, you can add a description if you want to. Now, lastly, there are 3 options here in this Objects dialog box. The first one is Retain. If I highlight this Retain button when I choose OK, it will create a block and add it to the block table here in AutoCAD, but the geometry that's on screen will remain as just geometry. It won't be a block. This is advantageous if maybe I want to modify that text or modify that geometry and then make another block out of it. It looks very similar. The second option here is to convert it to a block, in which case, again, when I choose OK, it's going to add it to the block table in the drawing, and then it's going to convert the geometry to a block. The third option here is delete. If I choose delete and choose OK, again, it adds that block to the block table here in the drawing, and then it deletes the geometry from the drawing. And maybe I do that if I drew the object in a place where I don't really want the block inserted, so I'll say delete it. I'm going to reinsert it a little bit later. For me right now, I'm going to go ahead and say convert this to a block. I'll choose OK, and you'll see what happens is it creates that block and it puts it in the block table. So again, if I go up to the block panel here on the Insert tab and I go to Insert, you'll see that I have my gallery here showing me now that I have this block here, and it's showing me that it's there. So if I want to insert another one, I can simply come here and I can insert it as many times as I want to. So That's the easy way of using the block tool to create a block in AutoCAD. Next up, we'll talk about using the W block command.